As mentioned before, guys, we made an offer in a video in the past that we had a mystery box giveaway. There's tons of goodies in this box. We were going to give away this box when we get to 100 subscriptions, which I thought was extremely generous to give away a whole mystery box in the beginning at just 100 subscribers. But guys, we are at 79, I believe, at this point. We are almost at 100. So as soon as we hit 100 on our subscribers, I will announce when I'm going to go live, and this mystery box could be yours. Can't wait to get that 100 subscription. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Carol with another episode of Watch Me Do My Nails. If you haven't done so just yet, please like and subscribe to my channel and share with a friend. As you guys can see, I'm here pushing back my cuticles. I'm about to do fresh sets, and I'm using a metal cuticle pusher, and I'm gently pushing back on my cuticles. And if you don't have a metal cuticle pusher, you can use a wooden cuticle pusher, or in some cases, some files, you can use them if their edge is rounded to push back on your cuticle. Just remember to be gentle, and you can use anything that could either be thrown away or sanitized. Here I am. I'm going to be using my e-file I got on, where did I get that? On Amazon. And I customized it with my logo. And in link in the description box, I will put a link where you can find one of those. Right here, I'm operating my e-file on the lowest setting, which is 2000 RPMs. And I am utilizing an 80 grit sanding band, and I'm just gently going over the surface of my nail to remove natural body oil and shine. Take your time with this process, guys. This is where your lifting takes place. If there's any oils or shine on your nails, it could promote lifting and ruin your sets. And when you have experience lifting, guys, and I'm speaking from experience, it hurts. If you've ever had lifting, it hurts. All right, so I'm just going from left to right, and I'm going around the cuticle sidewall area, making sure you get into those areas and do a good cleanup job. Okay, so here I am selecting my tip size, making sure that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. Oops, a little bit of glue there. Making sure that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. And I am using the KDS glue. I really like this glue. It sticks in 3 seconds. Just like so. Yeah. Success. And as you guys know, I'm pretty new to shooting videos, so my cinematography is getting better, but occasionally I do go off out of a range of the view of the camera. But like I said on my video, that's an opportunity for you to be like, I wonder what she's doing back there. So once again, I'm selecting my sizes, making sure that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. And I swear, guys, I knocked this container over, so I really don't believe that all the correct sizes is where they're supposed to be. So I have to fish the size out that I need. I just can't go to it. And I believe these 2 fingers are size 4s. Oops. There we go. Do a little quick inspection, make sure that they're going down straight. And one hand, but both hands are done. That's how I lay them down. And right here, I usually eyeball my sets and cut it, cut them to a size that I think I want to work with. And in this case, I am utilizing a nail scissors. And like I said, I eyeball it, and then I'm going to go back and measure to see how much more need to come off. And at this point, I'm usually cutting the right hand a little bit longer because I knew I'm going to go back and measure and cut down to size. Here I'm using a straight edge nail clipper to cut down some of the work I would be filing if I don't cut it off at this stage. And I believe this set I am doing it as a coffin here, and in the end I also have a shape change, and it will eventually end in a coffin set. So you will see two sets of finish on this nail, or something where thereabout. So I'm just taking off a little bit of excess on the side because I am going to be shaping these into a coffin shape. And the following day I decided, ooh, I have some videos that I want to shoot for content for my salon, and I am going to be dressed as a witch, so I wanted them to be stiletto or almanettos, but more so stiletto, and so I reshaped them the following day. So I'm coming to the end of this process right here. And then I'm going to shape them, or pre-shape. A little bit off camera here, but I left this in on purpose for you to see me holding the file straight up and down against the nail. Oh, observe my little angel kiss between my finger there. My crooked finger. Sometimes I'm afraid to do this process here because the tips are just glued on. And I believe on my opposite hand, I popped one of them off because I was powering through the pre-shape. And I had to go back and apply some more nail glue. So on this side, when you're pre-shaping, just know that that's exactly what you're doing, is that you're pre-shaping, and it's just glue holding the nail down for right now. So you kind of want to be not so Herculean as I can be at times. I'm wondering, did I leave that part in? Yep. Oh, did I? Yeah, right here. I popped it off and had to stick it back down. And sometimes when you pop them off, because it was already glued down, it doesn't want to stay down. So you're going to see me flip over here and just making sure that it stay down. And I am currently wearing those nails and it did not pop back up. So good job. Today I'm selecting from my Valentino collection. And I believe we ended up with Bad and Bougie. And of course, I always have an element of Entourage Nail Gallery. So we will be using the Entourage Nail Gallery Claire. And I started off with my Young Nails acrylic Kolinsky brush in, I want to say that's a size 10. And we will be using the Nut Polish monomer. We will also be using the Young Nails Protein Bond. And as you guys know, I like to apply 2 coats of this. And it's also recommended by the manufacturer that you apply 2 coats, even though you may only see me do it 1 time on the video. The purpose of that is to make sure that the video doesn't go too long. But believe you me, I do make 2 applications of the Young Nails Protein Bond. And if you're serious about your nails not lifting, not only would you insist on using Young Nails Protein Bond, you will apply 2 applications. Moving along here, I like to go in, as you guys know, what am I doing here? I'm testing which powder I wanted to use. And I decided to go with the Bad and Bougie acrylic by Valentino. And as you guys know, it is customary for me to put down a layer, very thin layer of clear. Not only when I'm doing my nails, I like to do it on my guests as well. It's my insurance policy that we don't mess up the prep work. Some people also like to put this down if they're using color powder so that you don't stain the natural nail, as well as if the guest wants to change the powder, you can file down to it. In this case, I am putting it down so thin, there is no filing down to this. This is strictly for keeping the nail, the integrity of the prep. Y'all know when you're doing your nails or you're doing somebody else's nails, they always want to touch stuff. Keep them sidewalls clean. Also, when I'm using colored powder, I believe that when I put clear down, it gives the powder something to hold on to, honestly. And don't forget to keep your brush clean. In this video, you're going to see me struggle a little bit with keeping my brush clean. I'm not sure why, but I have a favorite brush, even though I really like the brush that I use from Young Nails. I do have a favorite brush, and I just felt like I needed that brush at some point during the application. So I was going back and forth between the both of them. And guys, if you notice, my Young Nail brush look a little bit abused on the wooden part. I was using brush cleaner and I put it into a container that was too deep, and the brush cleaner kind of messed with the paint. So I have these smaller jars that I use, so I won't do that no more. Don't ruin your brushes, guys. Very thin, clear layer. Also, I feel like if your nails are super thin, that it just gives a foundation for you to work. Or if your guest nails is super thin. Okay, so here we go. So what I'm doing here is just trying to find my comfort level where I want to have my hands in comparison to the camera. And so now I dip my brush, I pick up a bead, and I put it down gently right in the middle where the nail, my natural nail and the tip meet. And I'm pulling from the sides and then the middle. And if you notice the liquid to powder ratio, when I put the bead down, it stood on my nail. It wasn't running to the left or to the right. That's exactly what you're looking for when you're picking up a bead and you're looking for liquid to powder ratio. So I cleaned off my brush. I picked up another bead, placed it right in front of the one that I did before, and I'm pulling it forward. Now, every powder brand that you use has a different way it wants to be put down, okay? In my opinion. And in the Valentino, I don't use it too often, but I do have the full set of Valentino powders. And I noticed if I didn't hold the product on the brush for a second, I was wiping too much of the product off. So right here on this nail, I'm trying to figure out what my comfort level is. What is this powder telling me? How does it like to be laid? All right. I noticed that, yeah, when I'm using different powders, you have to kind of figure out what the powder is telling you. Hold me for a couple of seconds on the brush before you put it down. And I wasn't wasting. I just noticed that if I put it down and started working it right away, I was actually wiping the product off. I clean my brush off, I pick up another bead, and I go to the back at the cuticle, and I gently push it into the cuticle without flooding, and I push it in nice and snug, and then I pull it down from the sides and the middle. And on this set, guys, I was really going for smooth. Um, there's no reason why you should put down Valentino powders and it be lumpy because it naturally wants to go down smooth. So I was enjoying the smooth process. Now, I don't get paid by Valentino, so I do not have any codes or anything like that. I just has their full collection as a part of my collection because I like them. This is an expandable moment, guy. Pinch and expand your video so you can really get in close to see how smooth this went down. Clean off my brush. I pick up a bead, set it down right in the middle where my natural nail and the tip join. Keeping the side walls just as clean as you would want to keep the cuticle. Pick up another bead, set it down right in front of the one that I previously put down, and gently pull it forward. I don't like wasting product, guys, so make sure when you pick up your Valentino powder, you just hold it for a quick second before you put it down and gently pull it forward. Keeping the side walls clean. I clean off my brush, I dip it again. This time I'm doing a reverse bead to the front so that I can build up the front and then smooth the product backwards into the powder that was already laid. No lumpies, guys. And the purpose for me using the, I use the not polished monomer. I ran out of Valentino monomer, but I really prefer to use Valentino with Valentino. And we're going to run into some issues on the opposite hand, and we'll talk about that when we get there. See how smooth Valentino goes down, guys? It just naturally want to be smooth. I think Valentino is a very beginner, user-friendly powder. If you start off with a powder such as Valentino, Young Nails, um, Valentino Young Nails, Kiara Sky, maybe Nut Polish, very user-friendly. Of course, Entourage Nail Gallery is also very user-friendly. I took my pride in trying to find a company that had products that I could endorse that would be very beginner-friendly. Look how beautiful that went down. And I'm paying attention to keeping the sidewall clean, not just the cuticle area. So I abandoned that bead because I did not pick it up the way I wanted to see the bead be a perfect shape like it is right here. And so don't be afraid to abandon your beads, guys. If it ain't right, if it's not absorbing the monomer properly, you kind of really want to just get rid of that one and try another one. And I was really looking for the perfect liquid to powder ratio. I pick up another bead after I clean my brush and I put it down just in front of the previous bead, and I'm pulling it forward, keeping the sidewalls clean. I can't stress that enough. You know, it's not just the cuticles that you're worried about. You really want the sidewalls to remain product free as well. And I am using my shop cloth. Like I told you guys in previous videos, I buy the shop cloth in bulk. I was recommended to use the Viva paper towel, the signature collection. And I liked it a lot, and I think it's really similar to the shop cloth, but I purchased the shop cloth in bulk. So that's what I'm using. So if you can observe that the nails are going down, they're almost perfectly shaped, and we haven't even gotten to shaping the nails yet. Flipping over my napkin here. We haven't even gotten shaped yet, but if you keep the sidewalls clean and you keep the nails in shape at this point, it is so much easier when you get to the hand filing stage. So right here, I'm trying to make sure that I get the tip of the nail built up. Cutting off the excess powder that I don't need right here. And back in the cuticle area needed to be built up a little bit. I had sort of like a half of apex back there, if you know what I mean. Making sure I have full coverage of powder on the nail. Guys, I never know where to put my hands. So I'm here playing tic-tac-toe with my product. I am moving on to the pinky. I pick up a bead. I put it down in the middle where the tip and the natural nail meet. And I'm gently pulling it forward. And guys, I was going for smoothness on this particular set, and Valentino did not disappoint. And I'm pulling the powder forward from behind where I lay the bead down. I call it like surfing. I'm coming, like when a surf hit you, not like when you ride in the surf. The surf comes over you. So when I pull my powder, I go behind where I lay the bead down and I pull it forward as if it's a surf that is rolling over you. Pinch and expand so you can observe that. Let's see if I do it here. So I get it nice and snug in the cuticle area and I'm pulling from back there, yes, and roll it over the nails as if it's a wave coming over you. Think about it for a second, guys. From the back like a wave rolling over you. And you can already see the shape of the nails coming together. And we are still laying the acrylic down. We have not hand filed yet. I'm repositioning my hand here so I can observe the nail from every angle. A little bit of reverse action going on here. And now we move on to that elusive thumb. I used to have a love-hate relationship with laying the acrylic on my thumb, and sometimes I would forget it altogether and have to come back and be like, oops, did not do my thumb. So right here, I just picked up a bead and I put it down right in the center where my nail tip and my natural nail come together. You guys can start noticing I'm having some issues with my brush. I pick up the bead and then I lay it down and I'm tapping it in so that the back of the bead comes down a little bit because you don't want your apex to come in too humpy when I go back to put a cuticle bead in. So I'm making sure the back comes down as flat as possible. Don't forget to clean your brush off. I'm dipping in the monomer, putting a bead. See how the bead stands up? That's what I want it to do. And I'm rolling like a surf, a wave rolling over me on the beach. And I'm pulling from the back of it forward. And guys, that's just my personal preference. I find that when I do it that way, you can't tell where the first bead was when I join it. And so it gives you a smooth application if you're having issues with smooth application. When I roll over it from the back forward, I tend to blend it a little bit better. And that's the only reason why I do it that way. See, I'm pulling it from the back, rolling over it, and it gives me a smoother application. If you don't use that method, try it. Drop it in the description box if it worked out better for you or not. I would love to hear from you. I put a cuticle bead in. I tuck it in nice and snug in the cuticle area without flooding. And I'm pulling it forward, being careful to clean up my sidewalls and cuticle area, no flooding. I hate the fact that my hand keep getting in the way right there. Yes, I had a little bit of a crease right there, and I'm actually filling that in. Not too bad for a thumbnail, right? There's some hand file work needs to happen to this nail, but yes, I'm loving it like McDonald's. And observe your nail from every angle. It will show you where you have deficits, ebbs and flow of where your product is at. Flat nails are not cute, and thumbnails could be extremely tacky looking if you don't put the acrylic down right. This is the nail that will always challenge me, is my thumbnail. Quick little inspection. Yeah. So I switched my brush out here for my favorite. It's just a nail brush that I get at my local beauty supply store. And I absolutely love these brushes. I believe it's by S&S. S as in Sam, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, S&S. And it picks up bigger beads. I don't know what it is about this brush. I'll figure it out one of these days, but guys, I absolutely love these. And as I've said in previous videos, when I do the non-dominant hand to the dominant hand, when I lay the product, for some reason, after I lay the initial bead where the nail and the free edge join, I always go to the cuticle first and build from the cuticle. So I, in essence, is building this nail in the opposite direction of the way I build the opposite hand, the dominant hand working on the non-dominant hand. And so if you notice that, yes, your eyes are not lying to you. I do work opposite when I go to the opposite hand. When I'm working on, I guess that doesn't happen, but when I'm working on myself, I observe that about my application. And here I'm putting a reverse bead. And when I start on the opposite hand, I always start on my index finger, my left index finger first. But when I flip over to the opposite side, I always start on my thumbnail first. Why? Do not ask me. That's what I do. How do you do? Leave in the description box. Please tell me what order in which you do your nails. Do you start with your left index finger? You know, what strategy do you use when you are laying acrylic on yourself? I'm just curious. And of course, I pick up with my right hand and I transfer the brush to my left. I believe on this video, I was challenging myself to pick up the powder with my left hand. And you might see that I do that once or twice, but I feel like I'm more comfortable switching the brush. And I also feel like the opposite hand went down so much smoother than when I'm working with the non-dominant hand. But you guys know working with your non-dominant hand has its own challenges. Abandon that bead for a better one. Mm-hmm. I went back to the opposite hand to fix something here. Also, no, I'm putting the clear down at this point. My top layer of clear. And of course, I'm using the Entourage Nail Gallery clear powder. Going for smoothness here, guys. I really wanted these nails to come out smooth, and I paid extra attention to that. They do come out smooth. Picking up a bead. Did I just skip one finger there? I think I did. Also on this video, when I was doing my transfer foils to finish, what I thought I was taping the video had stopped, and I did not notice that. So I don't think you would see the transfer foil part of the process, but I would make sure that you see the finish. And guys, like I said in previous videos, if you can look at your nails and see the cuticle and the side walls equally, you're in good business. And when I put the clear down, I also start from the cuticle area and I'm bringing it straight forward. Almost as if I'm using nail polish or gel. So every time I produce a video, guys, I go back and I look at my videos to see where I can improve. So you may notice that my cinematography, I'm keeping my hands where they're supposed to be. I'm really trying to get a hang of that. I still have challenges with it, but I'm getting better at it. And also, when I go back and look at the videos, I can see places where maybe I didn't build up the powder high enough, or there was powder missing on the side. I'm just critical of my work, and I really want, when I present a video to anyone who would be interested, that I'm really giving you good content and I'm improving on myself. I'm asking you to improve what you're doing and that I also do the same. And so my smoothness was very important to me on this video, that I get the nail really smooth. I kept missing my, did I get some clear on the index finger on this hand? I'm not sure. And you can tell I'm paying attention to smoothness because I am smoothing those nails out while they are pliable. Yeah, yeah. Like McDonald's, I'm loving it. Try pinching and expanding your video. If you observe something, please drop in the description box and say, hey, Carol, I use this method. You might want to try this for something. I appreciate it. We can all learn from each other. And I'll be happy to try whatever methods you guys tell me at least once. And I will make my comments on it. All right, so help me out as I help you out. I'm looking at the tip of the nail here to see if it was thick enough. And I noticed on the finger that I kept saying I did not put any powder on. I'm like, wait a second, I could use some clear right here. I was going for nude nails, and the Bad and Bougie, I like it. Please drop in the description box what's your favorite Valentino powder, if you use Valentino. Um, if not, let us know what brand you like to use. I have quite a few brands, but just a few of them I have like complete sets. So I'm back to finishing non-dominant work on the dominant hand. And like I said, when I'm working on the dominant hand with the non-dominant hand, for some reason, I start in the back at the cuticle and then work my way forward. And this bead was just getting a little bit dry on me here. And I'm beginning to get flooding, which is something that happens when I work on the opposite hand. But I'm very much aware of the fact that I'm doing it, and I am trying to keep it clean in the process. Please let me know what your challenges are when working with the non-dominant hand. Okay, guys, so I'm limited on my powder and I ran on my liquid and I ran out of not polish. So I have no Valentino monomer. I ran out of not polished monomer and I decided to use my CND. The first thing I observed is how blue the monomer came out, right? As opposed to the not polished. And so it started changing the color of the bad and bougie. I don't know if you can see it, but I have that eagle eye. And immediately I was like, oh no, this is going to change the color of the powder. And sure enough, it did. But thank God I was going to be putting transfer foils down. So I wasn't panicking too much. But I noticed the slight blue tint in the monomer that the bad and bougie wasn't really the same color as the opposite hand. It still made, I was still able to use the monomer on the Valentino and it worked, but it kind of irritated me that the powder wasn't the same color. That if I had that experience with, I guess I would really be freaking out. Keeping the sidewalls clean. Can you tell that the color is different? And I've had this CND monomer for quite a while. I think this was retention, it's called. And I've used it many times, but never noticed before how purpley it is until I use it next to the nut polish, and I was like, oh wow, it has a very distinctive purple color. It's almost as purpley blue as my ring I have on my finger there. So, like I was saying before, if you don't hold the Valentino powder on your brush for like a quick second, you can literally wipe it off. So, because it's my non-dominant hand, I'm working on my dominant hand here. I'm not panicking too much about it, but I just wanted to mention that again, in case you're using it and you're using it on a guest, you really don't want to waste the powder. So just hold it on your brush for a second. See, I'm using my left hand to pick up the powder, and I went from the jar straight to the nail. You kind of want to hold it for a second. Oops, off camera. Pick up a bead. I'm holding it. That's what I want you to do. Hold it for a second. By the time you put it down, it'll be nice and ready. Yes. And I believe like this is the first bead I put down on the non-dominant hand that I was extremely satisfied with. Hold it for a second. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Then you put it down. Get it nice and snug in the cuticle. Pull it forward. Yes, guys. Do as I say, not as I do. But in this case, I followed my own instructions. And I'm practicing with my left hand, picking up. So I think it's a little bit of nerve when I use my left hand to just drop the powder down right away. But if I did a transfer, there would be some seconds in there when I pick it up to transfer to my opposite hand. Um, but when I'm noticing that when I pick it up, I'm kind of rushed to put it down because I don't want it to fall off the brush. But really, guys, I think Valentino powder likes to be held for a second. Yep, fill in my gap. I'm back to picking up with my right hand, transfer it to the left. So all of that is seconds, right? Okay. And so now when I put this bead down, oops, I can't really tell if it's on the skin here, but It may or may not be. Guys, I'm not saying anything because I'm observing my own work. You know, it's you learn a lot about your own work when you put it on video. And in my brain is just telling me all the things that I did great, and there's certain things that maybe I can work on a little bit. So I'm excited to watch my videos alongside you guys. It's amazing what you learn about yourself and about your work if you could document it. So if you're struggling with doing nails, whether on yourself or on your guests, I suggest you videotape it. Go back and look at it. It will tell you so much about your own work. So I was deep in thought there for a second. And here now I'm just applying a top coat to encapsulate the powder. Valentino powder is very soft, and I kind of want to have something else on the nail. It's quite possible to just apply it without having to put a clear over it, but I like to encapsulate my work. And I'm putting a clear layer, and there are times when you would see me stray from this method of going to the back and with a clear and pulling it straight forward. But honestly speaking, that is my MO. I like to do it that way. There are times when I experiment with other things, but mostly when I do the clear, I usually go from the back. See, like right here, I didn't go from the back on this one. And usually that's because I feel like I saw something where the powder wasn't tapered right. And I'm using that opportunity to taper it before I go to the back, if that makes sense to someone. Move middle finger, you're in the way. Or ring finger, you're in the way. Yep, clean up them cuticles and them sidewalls. Transfer the brush from my right hand to my left. And I am pulling that clear forward. And guys, know that when you're working on yourself, there's always going to be one hand that looks better than the other. Um, my right hand working on my left hand always look better than my left hand working on my right hand. But know that you have opportunities to fix whatever you're seeing in the hand filing and the e-filing section. And if it's not 100% identical to the other side, it's okay. It's a nail application with acrylic, and you can always try again. Just building up the thickness on that thumbnail. Now, I have a video I did a few videos back. It says, watch me do my nails. And that one says you must watch to the end. That was some of the most perfect application I have ever done on myself. If you haven't seen that video, like it said, it's a must watch. Go back and look at it. I will try to link it in the description box on this one so you can just click on it and look at it. But it was a funny video I did with my girlfriends, but the application work, guys, was out of this world. You might want to check that out. I was about to start hand filing here, and you can definitely tell the difference in the color of the powder from the left hand to the right hand. And it wasn't quite ready for me to file, so I had to take a second for it to dry. So here I'm keeping my file straight up and down on the sides, straight up and down on the front of the nail, so you get that perfect shape. So even though I would go off screen a little bit, like right here, you can see the file was straight up and down. And that is the reason why when I go off camera sometimes, I really leave it in there because I want you to see that. Yeah, I had to cut out some parts where it was just really off camera. Straight up and down with the file, guys. And I am using my thumb and pushing against that file to put some tension on it to get the shape as crisp as possible. I'm starting on the bottom to clean up any excess powder that may have drained down on the bottom. And then I'm coming in straight on, putting a little tension on the file so that you get a nice, clean, crisp shape. If you were wondering where the shape came from, the tension against the file. At least that's where my shape comes from. And the file I'm using is a 8080 from my nail beauty supply store. It's no particular brand. It's just an 8080 nail file. And I suspect if it works well for me, if you have a beauty supply store close to you, an 8080 file of any brand would work, as long as the file itself is sturdy enough. So we are like our last 12 minutes of this particular video. And like I said before, the finished part of this was not taped. My bad. And I am going over the top of the surface. Sometimes your shape do come from the top of the nail as well. So don't neglect going over the top of the nail with the broad side of the nail file. As you can see, that file is straight up and down. I really like getting those shots for you guys because the importance of going straight up and down, I can't exaggerate it enough. So I'm hoping that when you see it for yourself, that you know the file has to be straight up and down. I'm going over the top of the nail here with the broad side of the file with the hand file, making sure that the file is contacting the nail on all surfaces. Yes, and I did get some flooding. And if you notice, there's a little gap on this particular finger. And I think at some point I'm going to go back and get that. I left it in the video because, oh, I think I left it in the video because I want you to see that if there is a product missing, that you really have to go back and fill it in. At some point, I think, hopefully I captured it on this video. Look at the shape on that thumb, guys. You'll see me struggling to file the opposite hand, right? It happens to the best of us. So when I go get my toes done, because I don't do my toes myself, um, the ladies are always asking me, "Ooh, your nails so pretty. Who do your nails?" And I say I did my nails myself. And they're like, "You want to come work for me?" No, ma'am. Got my own gig going on. And they tell me that they can do their dominant hand to the non-dominant hand, but they can't do the opposite side. So if you can, just know that you are very talented if you can do both hands. So don't be so hard on yourself if it didn't come out absolutely perfect. So here I'm using the arbor band or a sanding band. When I work on myself, I am most comfortable doing that. And if that's an option for you, good for you. I hate cutting myself or anyone else for that matter of fact. So when I'm working on me, I use the sanding band and it's in the 80 grit. And I'm just perfecting the shape from the top at this point in the game. And making sure that I go around the cuticle and I can see the cuticle, the natural nail, and the enhancement where it comes together. Isn't she pretty? Once again, I do the same thing on the other nail. I am going to perfect the shape from the top. And guys, I'm keeping the sanding band contacted on the surface of the nail. So everything should come out smooth and even. No ridges, no lumps or bumps. But if you laid your acrylic down smoothly. You don't really have to worry too much about it, but I go over the top to make sure that there's a flow from the front to the back, from the back to the front, that the nail does not have any gaps on it. And you will know if you have any gaps because when the arbor band or your bit, whichever bit you choose to use here, fine bit, tornado bit, a safety bit, whichever you choose to use, when you go over the surface and contact the whole surface, if you find some spots that are shiny and some spots that are dull, you may have lumps. Yes, indeed, guys. Looking good. And I'm trying to figure out what speed I'm operating at here. 11,000 RPMs. So a good click. Making sure you seal those nails really good, guys. And if you are timid to using a tornado bit, there's always a safety bit. But if you're really scared of your bits, which I'm not, I just don't like cutting myself. Um, so I do the sanding bands on myself. Um, Sanding bands is a great option. It'll do the same thing if after you use the aid, you follow with a fine sanding band, or you really buff those bad boys out really well just to make sure you're not seeing the scratch marks on the surface of the nail. And as I am doing this voiceover, I am paying attention to my work alongside you. So this is really the first time after I cut it and cut out all the stuff that I didn't want in there that I'm noticing the work, and I think I'm pleased with it. Let me know what you guys think about the craftsmanship at this point in the game. And I'm going to the opposite side. And I find when I switch hands that running the E file in reverse works better for me than if I run the E file forward. So at some point, you're going to see me stop and switch the E file from, yes, I'm switching it to reverse right here. Yes, and I am more comfortable at this point running the E file in reverse. Guys, I didn't even realize that the craftsmanship looked the way it did. I'm observing this for the first time myself with you guys, and I hope you're enjoying this. A little bit of flooding, so I gotta pull back on it. Yes, sir, I'm just filing, and once again, I'm using the sanding band. I'm running the e-file in reverse, and I'm observing my e-file. It says at this point I am at 12,000 RPMs. You see how flat I'm contacting the nail, and it's taking off bulk, making sure that the nail is not lumpy and smooth from the front all the way to the back. And I go in both directions, across and up and down. So this video is about to go off in 2 minutes. I will put the finish as a complete job, where the nails are already has the, what do you call it, the transfer foils down. And I will also leave the reshape that I did the following day, where I reshaped these nails to stilettos for my videos that I'm shooting as a witch. And maybe, guys, I might even do a set dressed as a witch for one of my Halloween sets. I have to find a model that would allow me to do a Halloween set on them, and I will probably do that one in costume. I can't wait. I am not, my girlfriends tell me I celebrate Halloween. I don't care what they say. And I guess I do, not in terms of a witch or as a Wiccan, but I like the costuming and the dressing up and the pageantry of Halloween. So I have down to the last few seconds here, guys. And like I said, I will show you the finish as a complete job and not in the process. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And please share with a friend. Leave your comments. I'm going to leave some stuff in the description box for you. And until the next video, have a great day. And there you go. And now you have the reshape finish. Thank you for watching.